Hello guys, well I'm back for episode 4. This is an episode about starting to delve into some of the parts, the forks, the brakes and a few other bits and bobs, mate, and the wheels and some of and tidying the plastics up. So the bike's in quite a few pieces. The majority of it is still there as such, but forks are out, off to the chromers for the stanchions, so I thought I'd attack the brakes and start having a look at the wheels and plastic. So enjoy this episode. I've enjoyed it up to now, some of the processes, and we should start to see things going back on the bike in episode 5, but enjoy episode 4. Hopefully it's a good watch for you over the weekend. Rear footrest from the right hand side, the brake reservoir, which, oh dear, that is very black, and the absolutely disgusting caliper. I mean, most of that's that oil that leaked out of the oil tank, but wow, I mean, that is disgusting. So I'll be cleaning that off and a full degrease. So I thought I may as well get on with this while I'm waiting. So I thought you might like to see before and after of that. It's pretty putrid. It's going to need a rebuild kit for sure, or at least everything stripping out. More than likely the master cylinders needs a kit because the pedal's solid. It's unlikely to be the seals in the caliper. So I'm going to strip it all down and see what's what. A nice cup of tea to start this little project. This afternoon's task is rebuilding the rear caliper. There's lots to do on this bike, but I'm just doing a little process at a time, getting boxed off. I'll just swing round actually, because the forks have gone off. So the bike is there with no front end on it. Forks are off for chroming of the stanchions. So I'm getting on with smaller jobs. So rear caliper, I've given it a quick refurb, not anything tremendous because I want to keep a bit of patina. It's not a perfect paint job, but that's how I wanted it to make it sit in with the bike. And I've cleaned up the sliding part which pushes the outer pad in. So we've got cleaned up pistons which are in good nick, good condition. Cleaned the retaining bracket. These sit inside the pistons. I think they're to stop squeak, brake squeak. Oh, we don't need that. Cleaned up the nipple. That rubber cleaned up fine. Had to order a new one, so I've got a genuine Suzuki rubber boot there. New pads, nothing spectacular. It's only the rear brake and the seals, which weren't leaking and are in good condition, cleaned up. So I was going to just do a little film, because some of you might not have done this before. I might be showing you, a lot of you how to do something you already know, but lots of you out there wouldn't have a clue because you've never done it, which is fair enough. So I'll just put this together quickly and I'll show you the process. So I've put the seals in. Just wipe it there. I've put the seals in. You smear, I should have shown you this, but it's a bit fiddly. So you smear some fresh brake fluid around the main seal inside and the dust seal, seat them in the grooves, and then you smear brake fluid around the pistons and get them perfectly straight and pop, just push them and they pop in. So they're in place now. Right. So the next thing to do is fit the two rubber boots. So that one's existing, that one's fine. I got a brand new one like I said earlier. So this one goes through that orifice there. Now I'll just use a bit of slippy brake fluid because this can be a bit awkward to get through here. So as it's swollen up when you take them out, it's going. Now, right, eventually I've got the rubber in. That was not easy. I'm glad I didn't film it all because it took me about 10 minutes just to get that rubber through. So that's in. The other one, the boot, literally just slips over that. So this should just pop on, to be honest. Okay. Should just pop on, he says. Yeah, that's on. So brand new rubber there. Existing rubber, which is fine. Next, put the retaining arm. They're threaded, so this is what bolts to the swinging arm bracket. Can only go one way because these prongs get greased and go into the rubbers. Grease on them, plenty of grease. Grease inside the rubber. And that one. And then literally that just slides in. There we go. That's it. It's good. And that should slide freely back into, which it does, which it didn't before. It can't have been seized, but I think it was just old grease and years of accumulation of dirt. I'll put the bleed nipple back in. Just do it finger tight because we'll be bleeding the system anyway. Next goes in the pads. In fact, we'll put these in next. They just slide in, pop in. They push on the back of the pad, the inner pad. So this retaining clip goes in like that, and it's got a bit of spring on it to push the pads in tension. So the inside pad clicks in like that, and the spring's pushing tension onto it, so it pushes up, so keeps it in place. Tension on that spring, and then the outer pad slides over the arms of the pins, if you like. There we go. I thought the hole wasn't quite big enough, but there it says. Just need to get it absolutely square to get it on. They're very, very tight on tolerance. So you get one side on, the other side won't go. I'll just have to file the hole slightly bigger, I think. I think it's just the thickness of the paint. Okay, I've just filed a little bit out on the outer edge of the pad frame. Just, it was ever so slightly small. Just manufacturing tolerances, I guess. So there you go. Pads are in place. You just have to hold them back when you refit them on the disc. And that's how it works. You slide that back. There we go. You can see how the boot keeps the grease in. That's it. So that's one refurbished caliper ready to go back on. Right. So the next little job is taking the tyres off, and I've done a video of this. Have a look through my previous videos and you'll see me doing the home tyre removal system with a spade, of all things. So there's the rear that I've got to do soon, and it's in the sun, soaking, getting soft. And here's the other one that I've just done. Front tyre, bare rim there. So I'll show you the other one when it's removed. You don't need to see it again, it's already on my channel. And there we are, 2 stripped wheels. Just got to take the disc off the rear, and I'll take the rubbers out for the sprocket and cut the valves off, and we're done. They're ready for prep and repaint. They're getting painted, not powder coated. It's a bit of a better process, less thick and more original looking. Right, after many hours of rubbing down, I've finally got the wheels prepped. So they just need wipe down with some panel wipe, and then they're going to get painted. They were a right mess. I can't tell you how long it's took me, hours and hours. But they've come up well, nice and smooth, and hopefully they turn out as good as the ones on the Schick. Unlikely, because the Schick were a beautiful graphite grey colour, but we'll get these done, and that's a big step, real big step, because new tyres are going on then, and I can get the bike rolling next week when I get the forks back. The fork stanchions being away, chromed, so I'll get the forks back, get them built, and get the bike on 2 wheels again, which makes it more steady, and I can crack on with cleaning up all that swinging arm. Okay, so there are tools. I'll show you the tool. There's this tool which goes inside, so those knurled jaws go inside, and you open it up and you do that, and you force it and you start turning, but as you'll see, they slip. So what I do is I use the ratchet and socket method. So what you do is you basically put a socket in there, you have to get your size correct, and you wedge it, and it wedges on the ball of the extension bar like that there. Just move the camera up a little bit. So what you do is you turn, and it eventually it grips, and you turn it like that, and as you turn you pull and just get it turning. I've had it moving once. So you turn and you keep turning. It's turning now. So you see it's turning. So as you turn, you pull upwards and you use the ratchet. That's it, it's coming. keep turning, and just bit of upward pull as you turn. There we go, it's out. No damage. I use old sockets, but there we go. And the pistons are in quite good condition. I'm literally just stripping these calipers, giving them a damn good clean and putting them back together, because there were no leaks. Some of you might say put new seals in, but I tend to just have a check them out, and if the seals look good and they're not leaking, just give them a good clean and clean behind to get all the congealed brake fluid out, and a good scrub, and they're generally all right. You can tell if the seals are knackered. So I'm just, it's not penny pinching, it's just really not spending money where you don't have to. The purists out there will say, oh, you have to replace everything no matter what, but reality is you don't. And if they leak, then I'll put seals in, but there's nothing lost by trying it. So you might say, oh, you're doing it twice. Yeah, but it's only a bit of time, and not much time, to be honest. So there we go. That's my little technique for getting pistons out that are seized. These weren't seized, they were just really tight, but I thought I'd show you, and it's a good technique. Well, I'm back from France after my holidays, and the first job I've done is rebuilt these front calipers that I cleaned up when I went away, before I went away. So I've stripped them down, took all the seals out, cleaned all the crud out of the grooves for the seals, all had a good scrub, degreased, soapy wash, and all the fasteners bolts cleaned up. These are rezinked banjo bolts because the other ones were too rotten, but they've cleaned up quite nice, and they've still got the look about them, so they should all be good to go. They're absolutely mint clean in the bits that matter. So yes, they're not the best looking on the outside, they're a bit scabby, but it suits the patina of the bike, and I know they're good. So the forks are just away, getting re-chromed, the stanchions and the fork footer bottoms that the stanchions screw into, they've been away getting vapoured. I didn't really want to get anything vapoured, but not really a good idea to strip forks completely and not give them a good going over. So the tubes aren't getting re-anodised or anything like that, but the internals, they're all on the bench ready to go back in. So they should be ready next week. Then I can make a bit of progress. I don't really want to touch the bike while it's on stands with no front ending, because it's all right, it looks okay, but it's a bit unstable. So once the front end's back in next week, I'll be cleaning up all that swinging arm, getting the shock out, cleaning up the front of the engine, getting the pipes off, etc, etc. Okay, right, the next dilemma is, as you can see, I've got a load of plastics behind, sat on the table. So we've got two sets of plastics, side panels, tailpiece and V-piece. We haven't got a spare nose cone because the spare we've got is an SP2 one, so it's exactly the same colour, but it just says Sports Production 2 on the front, so we can't use that one. So we're stuck with the original for that. But the side panels, I've got to go through them and choose the best, along with the V-piece and the tailpiece. So let's have a look and see what we've got. Right, okay, so mudguard's easy because I've only got one of those. So the mudguard, no dilemma there. V-piece, there's the original. which is yellowed. It's in good condition, but it has yellowed. So this one is the spare one, which, as you can see, does look in better condition. So I think I'm going to go with that one. Right, so move that out of the way. Tail pieces. This one here is the original that came with the bike. However, it's definitely got a crack there and a spoiled decal, a scuff there. All the lugs are intact. I mean, don't worry about the dirt, but it will clean up. Not as well. Move the mudguard. Not as well as this one. This one is in better condition. The bracketry is better. Paint works better. No cracks. Only thing different, which isn't great, is the number board decal is a bit damaged. So do we go for the better coloured part of the panel, or do we go for the better number board? Now you could probably argue that that small crack and tear through the decal is not as bad as that on the number board. However, that could just be touched in with a marker pen and we're done there. But there's no damage to the actual panel itself. However, that's got a crack in the panel. Is it a crack? Well, turns out it's not. So it's a damage to the decal. I'm gonna have to have a think about that. Be nice to keep the one that was original on the bike. However, the spare one is cleaner, but dirt is nothing. Okay, I'll think about that. Right, so now we'll move on to the side panels. So these two, as you can see, it's not actually damaged, that down there. That is something stuck to the tape. I think somebody's used tape to hold it together. Now, does that say that there's damage to the lugs? Possibly. But the rest of that will clean up. There's a couple of small scuffs. The graphics are really good on that one, on the left hand side spare. And the graphic, let's bring it over. The graphics on the other spare, the right hand side, are really good, apart from the lacquer. Sorry, the laminate has come off. I'll pull it. Oh, that's all right. That's in good nick. Really good. But there's a little scratch through the Suzuki logo and more yellowing, which will come off. Whereas the original, more smaller scuffs. However, there'll be more damage soon. However, there's a bit of damage down there. What's the other one like? Yeah, so that scratch is quite deep. So, another decision to make. It might be a case of, let's look at the other one, the last one, the right hand side spare. I'm not sure they're as good. Sorry, that's not the spare, that's the original. That's the original. So are they as good? Or is it a case of use the right hand side spare one, that one. I'm tempted to go with the spares because the bit that you see, the blue bit, the Suzuki bit and underneath obviously is more out of sight. So I'm tempted to go with the spares because the blue graphics are slightly better. That's the original, that's the spare. The colours slightly different, but they're all original, genuine Suzuki graphics. I've got a couple of decisions to make there. So I think what I'll do is I'll give them a good wash, degrease, and maybe see what they look like after that. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, so a couple of days later from showing you the plastics, I've been busy polishing, T-cutting, using elbow grease, and I've got some results. So let's have a look, see what we've got. So here we are, it's all laid out. Sorry if the sound's a bit bad, it's quite windy this afternoon. So yeah, here we are, all laid out. And I eventually, after my dilemmas, I did go with the spare set of side panels, as I thought I might, because they were in slightly better condition. But I managed to get all the debris off them, and there's remnants of the sticky tape, complete degrease. I'll show you the back actually first. So yeah, around the heat shield, that was absolutely covered in oil, manky. There are a few remnants of tape there, but I didn't want to go too far. The stuff that came off easily did, but it's inside the fairing, you won't see it. But let's turn it back round. So the right hand one there, I mean, beautiful, shiny. It's really polished back well. Plenty of elbow grease, cutting compound. Yeah, we know about the scratch on the Suzuki, but the bike, as I keep going on, you're probably sick of me saying it, but it is a patina bike, and we don't want some things to look new and some things to look really bad or really worn. So it's finding that balance. But I think you'll agree, you can see by the shine on them, these have come back lovely. So they're the two side panels. Ironically, both got a scratch on the Suzuki at the bottom. The V piece, not a lot of change really, just give that a thorough cut back, clean. That was already in good condition. Now the tailpiece, as I was saying at the time a few days ago, the tailpiece, I did go with the spare set, because that had the slight bit of black damage down there, but I've just used a black marker pen and you just literally can't see it. So that, you can see by the shine on the decals there. That's brilliant, that's really good, that one. I'll show you around the back of it, the other side. So the luster and the sheen has come back. Just shows the quality of these graphics from 35 years ago from Suzuki. It's sensational really. Yeah, so still a few faint scratches and discoloration, but that's what we want. In fact, my main decision for choosing this one was the other one was split on that corner. So the top, there was a crack down the middle and the top had come away from the bottom, and it was really noticeable. So the back of this one is in fantastic condition, hence choosing this set. And then mudguard, there's a couple of marks on it, nothing major, where it's rubbed on the fairing or brake lines or whatever. I mean, that's coloured plastic, so that isn't even paint. There we are, there's the genuine code on it. So that's come back lovely. And the nose cone, look at the shine on it. The screen was destroyed, so I've unclipped the screen, and we've got another screen off another fairing, so that can go on. But that is beautiful. Okay, there's a bad scratch there, but that is the only thing on that fairing really. There's a little bit of a scratch on the side which somebody's touched in previously. Tiny mark there, but it's all in keeping with the appearance of the bike. There's a bit of discoloration there where it's rubbed off, but all in all, I mean, got a good sheen to it again on this piece. So all in all, oh, and I cleaned up the inside of that as well, so that was quite filthy actually. But I'm pleased and I can't wait to see what this bike looks like. But all in all, yeah, that's a nice set of plastics now. So that's the end of this episode, episode 4. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's whetted your appetite to see a bit more. Next episode, probably going to have the rebuild the forks when the stanchions come back from the chroma next week. So rebuild the forks, get those back in the bike. I'll finish painting the wheels. They're in primer now, and we might have some new tyres on, and I'll be cleaning up the back end, the swinging arm, and we'll see where we go from there. But she's coming together now. I'll see you next time, guys. Stay safe out there.